What makes a piece of jewelry truly Gothic? Is it the dark metal, the skulls and serpents, or something deeper? Gothic jewelry is not simply decoration, it is a visual language of identity, mortality, protection, romance, and rebellion. I'm Lenore, the voice of VALRSOUL. Today, we'll explore where this style comes from, what its symbols mean, and how to choose a piece that feels personal to you. In the simplest terms, Gothic jewelry is a broad modern style shaped by medieval architecture, Gothic literature, Victorian mourning traditions, religious and funerary imagery, and the Goth and punk subcultures of the late 20th century. It often uses dark or silver-toned metal, sculpted surfaces, sharp lines, and emotionally charged symbols. But no single material or motif makes a piece Gothic. A tiny silver thorn can feel just as Gothic as a massive skull ring. What matters is the atmosphere it creates and the meaning the wearer gives it. That personal meaning is important because two people can wear the same symbol for completely different reasons. One may see remembrance, another may see strength. Gothic jewelry does not demand a single interpretation. It gives the wearer a vocabulary and lets them decide what to say. 4 ideas appear again and again. The first is identity, a visible declaration of taste, independence, belonging, or even the refusal to belong. The second is mortality. Skulls, coffins, and bones can act as memento mori, reminders that life is finite and should be lived deliberately. The third is protection. Crosses, talismans, eyes, runes, and mythic creatures may represent courage or guardianship. And the fourth is rebellion. Heavy chains, spikes, armor-like forms, and confrontational imagery reject polished sameness. Together, these ideas make Gothic jewelry both visually dramatic and emotionally intimate. The Gothic look usually comes from a combination of symbolism, form, texture, and contrast. Think of pointed arches, claws, thorns, spikes, dramatic scale, oxidized recesses, and polished edges emerging from darkness. A romantic rose beside a bone, or bright silver against a blackened cavity, creates tension. That tension is part of what gives the style its presence. The story begins with medieval Gothic art and architecture, especially from the 12th through the 16th centuries. Pointed arches, tracery, sacred figures, and richly symbolic ornament established a visual vocabulary that later generations would revisit. In the late 18th and 19th centuries, Gothic literature and the Gothic revival renewed interest in ruins, mystery, spirituality, and the medieval past. Victorian mourning customs added emotional weight to lockets, crosses, cameos, and jewelry made with dark materials. Then, in the late 1970s and 80s, the modern goth subculture grew from underground punk and post-punk music scenes. It transformed Victorian, religious, and macabre imagery into a living style. Today, Gothic jewelry overlaps with romantic goth, punk, metal, biker, fantasy, occult, cyber, and even minimalist fashion. It is less a frozen historical category than a dark visual language that keeps evolving. Symbols are where that history becomes personal. They can carry religious, mythological, emotional, or purely aesthetic meanings. Context matters, and so does intention. Here are some of the most common motifs and the ideas they may express. Skulls and bones can represent mortality, equality in death, endurance, or fearlessness. They are not always symbols of despair. Often they are reminders to live consciously. Crosses may express faith, remembrance, protection, Gothic architecture, or visual rebellion. Wearing one does not automatically declare a single belief. Serpents suggest transformation, danger, knowledge, temptation, healing, and renewal, because a snake sheds its skin. Ravens and bats evoke night, intelligence, mystery, omens, and the ability to move through places others fear. Dragons speak of power, guardianship, ancient knowledge, and untamed force. Roses, hearts, and thorns bring a different tension. Love with consequence, beauty beside pain, devotion, grief, vulnerability, and defense. Other recurring motifs include coffins, spiders, eyes, daggers, wings, and architectural tracery. None of these symbols has one universal definition. The strongest choice is usually the one whose meaning you would still value even if nobody else saw it. Gothic design can appear in almost any form, but rings, necklaces, bracelets, and earrings each create a different effect. A ring places the symbol directly in view. A necklace can become the center of an outfit. A bracelet adds movement and weight, while earrings can range from a small, dark accent to deliberate asymmetry. Signet rings, armor rings, claws, skulls, serpents, crosses, and wide sculpted bands create a strong presence on the hand. Pendants, chokers, layered chains, and talismanic necklaces place meaning near the heart and naturally draw the eye. Heavy link bracelets, cuffs, leather bands, and articulated armor add structure and motion. Studs, hoops, drops, and ear cuffs can be minimal or theatrical, and non-pierced designs make experimentation easier. If you are new to the style, begin with one form you already enjoy wearing. Familiar comfort makes a bold design much easier to make your own. Material affects not only the appearance of Gothic jewelry, but also its weight, care, comfort, and durability. The same design can feel completely different in polished steel, oxidized silver, aged brass, leather, enamel, or stone. Always check the actual material instead of judging only from a product photograph. Premium 316L stainless steel is durable, substantial, and well-suited to sharp sculptural detail. It resists rust and everyday tarnishing, making it practical for frequently worn pieces. Sterling silver offers a classic bright finish and can develop a patina, so it may need occasional polishing. Copper, brass, and pewter allow intricate casting and vintage finishes, although care depends on plating and surface treatment. Leather, black or red enamel, crystal, and deep-toned stones introduce softness, color, and contrast. At VALRSOUL, we often favor premium 316L stainless steel for bold everyday designs, while selected decorative components may use other clearly listed materials. Honest material information helps you choose a piece that suits both your style and your routine. You do not need to belong to a particular subculture to wear Gothic jewelry. People arrive through music, art, mythology, history, fantasy, biker culture, or simply a love of dark design. Authenticity does not come from passing a style test. It comes from choosing deliberately and wearing the piece as part of your own visual language. Start with a symbol you can connect to. It does not need a grand story, but it should mean more than following a trend. Match the scale to your habits. An armor ring can dominate an outfit, while a small pendant may work every day. Check the material and its care requirements. Think about weight, edges, chain length, closures, and how the piece moves. Measure before ordering, especially for wide ring bands, which can feel tighter than thin ones. Finally, build around one anchor piece. Let a ring, pendant, or bracelet lead, then add quieter supporting details. Gothic style does not require an entirely black wardrobe. One deliberate object can bring contrast and character to a simple outfit. Gothic jewelry lives at the meeting point of history and self-expression. Its darkness can hold memory, protection, romance, courage, and beauty. The right piece is not simply the most dramatic one. It is the symbol that continues to speak when the trend has passed. If you would like to explore more, visit VALRSOUL and discover the piece that tells your story. I'm Lenore. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next guide.